Shalom Aleichem Rabotai is Rabbi Kovacs, and the Mishnah Yomi is continuing in the fourth parak of Challah, Mishnah Gimel. Shnei Kobin, 2 doughs of 1 kav each. Recall from yesterday, and in the second parak, the shear for Challah, to be obligated to separate Challah on a deraisa level, is 5/4 of a kabin, or 5 revayim. It's sometimes called. A reva is a quarter kav. So you have 2 doughs, separate doughs, that are a kav each, so they're pater. The kav orez, or kav truma be'emsa. But in the middle, they're all kneading these on the same counter, on the same board, and there's another dough in the middle, and it's made of rice flour, which is exempt, as we've seen, or it's made of truma, which is exempt from challah, because challah itself is a truma. And that's in the middle, and it's sort of touching both of the side doughs. Einan mitzdarfin, that middle dough doesn't join up the 2 side doughs, even though it's touching both of them, to make it as if it's one big dough to be obligated in challah. Davar shenitla chalato be'emtza. But if there was another dough, and the dough in the middle, there are 3 doughs, the one on the left and the right side have not separated challah, and they're only a kav each, and this one in the middle, it's already had challah separated, mitzdarfin. If it's touching both of the side doughs, the middle one is halachically combining them into one unit, shekavarnit chayev b'challah, because this middle one was already shayach, was already obligated in challah. It's something, on Wednesday, if you were learning Mishnayot of Yoma on Yom Kippur, if you had the chance, there's a lot of discussion about the Kohen Gadol and the ex-Kohen Gadol. And, if someone was once a Kohen Gadol, he's always a Kohen Gadol. He always has a certain special status to him. So it's kind of like this challah dough. Once it's been a dough that's obligated in challah, it always has some shaykhs to challah, and it's shaykh enough. You don't have to separate another challah, but it can join these other 2 doughs, as we see it halachically, as if it's one big dough of 2 kav, and he can separate challah. He has to separate challah from the 2 side doughs. Good. Mishnah Dalet, kav hadash, the kav yoshon. Here we have 2 doughs, 1 kav each, less than the shear, and one is hadash. It's from the new grain that has not been allowed by the Ketziras Omer, by the Omer offering, which allows new grain, makes it yoshon. And the other one is yoshon. It's from last year's crop, and they're touching one another. Rabbi Shmuel Omer yitul min emsa. He says it does have to take challah, because l'mayis you have 2 kav of dough sitting in front of you touching, but you would take challah from the middle, as in a little bit of challah from both sides. Chachamim osrim. The Chachamim say it's not just pater, but they say don't do that. The Mepharshim explain that technically deraisa, it should be chayav in challah, but rabbinically we don't separate from chadash and yashan and vice versa. That's not just by challah, but we've seen that by meiser and by truma as well. So if someone comes to do this, they're going to start doing it by meiser and truma, and they're going to have a bigger problem on their hands. Mishnah concludes, hanotel challah min kav. Someone had one of these kav-sized doughs. It's not big enough yet. Rabbi Akiva Omer challah. If someone separated challah, went ahead and did it from the small dough, Rabbi Akiva says that works. That's valid challah b'diavad. Chamim omrim eino challah. The sages say no, it's not challah. Now the partner here explains. Rabbi Akiva says it's challah when he adds to it. Hu shehashlim ala isa. He adds to this dough achar kach kashir challah. He adds another reva. So he gets to a kav and a quarter. So he gets to the shear after. So what he did was he separated challah when there was 1 kav. And he said, oh, oops, it wasn't really quite big enough. And then he adds another reva of flour, and now his whole dough had the shear. So you say, okay, his challah is b'diavad, a valid challah according to Rabbi Akiva, but not according to the sages, because l'maisa at the time of separation, it was lacking the requisite shear. Shkoyach Rabosai.